Hey guys, I have been getting a bunch of your assignments in. And first of all, good for you. I'm really proud of you guys. It has been a long time since we have seen some of this material. And I'm just really proud of how well you guys have been doing. And as I've been grading them, I have noticed my top 3 errors. So these errors are things I'm noticing across the board. So I thought I would address them. And it just so happens that they're in 3 separate areas. So let's go ahead and go through these 3 errors as I go through them. It would be good for you to jot down some notes maybe so you can use this for future at-home learning assignments. So the first one is with factoring for number 2. Now, the good news is the common error that is being made is just not the most simplified answer. Okay, so when we are going to factor, we are looking for what's called the greatest common factor. Okay, the greatest common factor, or the GCF. So when I look at 8 and 12, okay, the greatest common factor of 8 and 12, if you forget how to do this, you want to look at what factors of 8 and 12, just list them first. So for 8, the way we can get 8, factors are numbers multiplied together to get 8. So 1 times 8 is one set of factors. And then 2 times 4. And I teach my kids to do it in order like this. So when they get to the middle, they know that there's none left. So we are done with the factors of 8, 1 times 8 and 2 times 4. Okay, now let's look at 12. So we do 1 and 12, start there. Let's do 2 times 6 and 3 times 4. Okay, so here are my complete list for 8 and 12. Now, a lot of you chose 2 as your greatest common factor and you picked A. But look, there's a bigger one, 4. So what you guys should have done here was, if you had 8x plus 12, the greatest common factor is 4. So then what you do is you divide each of these terms by 4 instead of 2. So 8 divided by 4 is 2, and then you bring the x down, plus 12 divided by 4 is 3. So instead of my answer being A, which still multiplies through to get 8x plus 12, the answer is actually C. 4 times 2x is 8x, and 4 times 3 is 12. So when you distribute it back, you get the original answer, what you started with, but you now have the greatest common factor. So I was proud that a lot of you picked A. It just, you needed the greatest common factor, not just any common factor. All right, the second big error I saw, and this was one as we were learning this, trying to remember the difference between percent of change versus just percent of a number. And so this one's different, guys, remember. So if we're going to use our football, or I'll do a little T right now. Okay, if I'm looking at this and the shirt was $10, so you could say 10 was the original price, and now it is 12. The question wants us to determine the percent of change, not what percent 10 is of 12, like some of you did. That would have given you the answer of 83%. But that's not what this wants us to tell them. It wants us to tell them what is the percent of change. And so if you remember, both of these numbers don't go in the football. The original does. The original goes in the bottom right. So the original was what? 10. Good. The first, what happened first. And then up here, guys, remember at the top goes the difference. Okay? So 2 then divided by 10 gives us 0.2, or 20%. Okay? So that's that one. And the final one, this one actually wasn't too bad. You guys The main error was you forgot when we're looking at the rate of change, also known as slope, that it should go, this is X, and this is Y, remember. A lot of you forgot that it should have gone Y over X. And so you're like, okay, I need to know the difference. A lot of you remembered that, which I was happy to see, but from here to here goes up by 6. Here to here goes up by 6. Here to here goes up by 6. And here to here goes up by 6. These go up by 1. Guess what the most popular wrong answer was? B, 1 over 6, because you forgot that it needed to be Y over X. And so when we look at that, Y over X, change in Y is 6, change in X is 1. The answer is D. All right, that's the top 3 from this week, you guys. Great work this week, and keep it going. See you next week with the top 3 from next week.